Hey, Den family, Den Mother Amanda, welcome back. Yes, doing another episode of trans children. Are they really trans or not? Um, gonna go through a bunch of different stuff, and yeah, we're gonna go over some stuff from another popular person. I just absolutely enjoy disliking what's being said by this person, and that would be Jimmy Dodger or Jamie Dodger and her vile, evil, satanic, child sacrificing, ritualistic destruction of children through hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy, which destroys children. So we already know where I'm coming from. Um, anyway, basis on some facts. What are the facts and what are the lies? Okay. There's two kinds of therapy, mental health therapy for children or anyone that I do not agree with. Okay, that would be conversion therapy. I don't know. That's wrong. And I do not agree with affirmation therapy. No, they're both wrong. There is a nice middle ground effort in that, in this therapy thing, the mental health therapy, where we get people that are therapists that have a compassionate way of talking to people about their gender identity slash disorder. Okay. Um, I don't believe children are transgender or transsexual, although some may end up saying they've in today's age may say they are, and extremely few really are that say they are. Um, and what's where I'm getting this information is the entire European Union, who has been medically transitioning children for 30 to 50 years longer than we have in America, the United States, and Canada. There have been at least 19 studies, actual studies, where they've studied children that are getting puberty blockers and starting out with puberty blockers and getting cross sex hormones, and children that are not. Okay, these children didn't know which ones they were in or were not in to start with. Okay, 80% of the children that were not started with hormone blockers and did not go on to cross sex hormone therapy, when they went through their own biological puberty with no outside interference, other than letting them live their life the way they feel comfortable with, chose not to medically transition because they found out it was not right for them. And the only way the child, only way that somebody could ever find out if it's anywhere near true for them is to go through their biological puberty from what they were born. Um, Male identified or female identified at birth, that's a delusion. You either are or you are not born biologically male. You either are or you are not born biologically female. They are two biological facts. We're not getting into the intersex thing, which is something totally different. And that is a medical birth defect. Okay? Over 99% of the population are not born with ambiguous genitalia. Genitalia is easily recognizable upon birth and easy to distinguish between the two. Where intersex has to be done with a chromosomal check, which means they do blood work and other testing to find out which is the functioning sex organ, reproductive organ. It's just facts. Okay, they're facts. Been that way for thousands of years. Ideological thinking is not going to change it. Ideological wishing is not going to change it. SRS, GRS, sex reassignment, gender reassignment is not going to change the fact of biology. Biology is at a chromosomal level. Okay, I know people are going to bring up, oh, okay, what about hormone replacement therapy? Okay, we'll go there. Every single human on the face of this planet is born with both primary sex hormones, either testosterone and estrogen. The biology of how someone is born, if you have a penis, the primary is testosterone with minor estrogen levels. If you have a vagina, primary is estrogen with the minor testosterone levels. Those are biological medical facts. And to deny that is a lie. You're outright lying if you deny that. And if you're spreading the fact that that isn't what it is, you're a liar. You're willfully and intentionally deceiving people with intent of evil, hate, and harm. There are only two genders for more than 99% of the human population on the planet. It correlates directly with their biological sex as they were born for over 99%, which leaves room for people who may fall into being transsexual. I'm going to say trans. I don't mind the word transgender, but it's too much of an umbrella term for what we're talking about. Because it's become something different than what it was originally meant to be. So if people use it for those who are still medically transitioning, that's okay. Those who are medically transitioning, transsexual fits the bill the best, probably the best, as of now. Okay, that's what I believe, anyway. Studies from the European Union, every single country in the European Union has seen the harms that puberty blockers do to children. It happens here in the United States as well, and Canada. But people in these two countries do not want to recognize that and see that because they want to butcher and destroy children's lives for money. Follow the freaking money. Doctors, pharmaceutical companies, they're freaking notorious. Yeah, it's safe. It's not going to cause any harm. Bullshit. Okay. Hormone blockers like Lupron have been given to convicted sex criminals to destroy their hormone levels of estrogen and testosterone, destroys their sex drive. This is a fact. Whether it's used for cancers right now in this conversation is almost irrelevant. Almost, because I can say, well, if does a child have cancer? If not, then you're butchering the child, willfully and intentionally, putting that child in harm. And that's child abuse. Plain and simple. It's all it is child abuse. Children are confused enough. I have a hard time enough figuring things out as they grow. And you want to give them these chemicals that affect their brain development, bone development, lung development, heart development, every other development, just to see them end up detransitioning anyway. There's too many that are detransitioning, and 100% of the time, this is 100% fact, I have not seen one do the opposite of what I'm going to talk about right now. Zero. Every single solitary detransitioner as an adult when he started on hormone blockers and puberty and changing medications, alternate hormone medication and therapy, have 100% admitted no sexual function, no sexual gratification. More times than not, there's pain during sex, and even when there's not sex, describe having pain from time to time in their genital areas. Yeah, they admit to feeling pressure. That's all they feel, but they don't feel any satisfaction. Zero. Suicide almost triples when children. Suicide rate and actual suicide nearly triples after being put on puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for children that already have a high enough suicide rate and attempts and actual happening already. It's going to give them medications that increase that exponentially. You are evil. You're satanic. And all I do believe is you want to cause harm to children. I believe you hate children when you willfully do this. When you can put a child through proper mental health therapy that explores why they're feeling the way they are feeling. Get to the root of what it is. Most of the time, there's exponential outside factors that go into it. Most of the time. Sometimes there's not. Both sides of that story, that coin, are true. We have no idea with any reasonable assuredness that medical transition is right for them. And a child does not have the capability to understand whether it's right or wrong for them. Their minds and their brains have not developed enough. and they won't develop enough. Puberty is what makes the brain and the rest of the body develop enough to be able to have reasonable understanding, reasonable comprehension of what's going on with that child as they are going through their puberty. Doesn't mean they're going to understand everything that they're going through when puberty happens. It's a confusing time for all of us, whether it's male or female puberty. It's stressful. It really is. Female to male transition has gone up by over 7,000%. And most of the detransitioners are coming from the female to male side. It's because people ignore the history of what the transsexual population is really like. Okay? Most, over 95% are male to female. 5%, and the percentages may fluctuate a little bit, give or take on either end. 5% are female to male. Because girls have a high rate of discomfort with their puberty, and we all understand why. There's therapists and doctors convincing them that they didn't need to transition and that they're trans. Wrong. Therapists agreeing with a child being trans is wrong. That's causing harm. Conversion therapy is wrong. Care and compassion look into why the child is feeling the way they're feeling. We need to help them compassionately understand what they're going through when they're going through it. And that's a good thing. Antidepressants are okay to use. That's a good thing because they can help. Anti-anxiety medication is a good thing. They can help. I think most of us actually care about children because the children are our future. They rely on us as adults to guide them in a proper, safe way. And medically transitioning a child is not the right way to go. We know this. I forget how many times I've mentioned the harms that Lupron and other puberty blockers cause in children. Unstable body and brain development. Kicker. Nobody wants to hear, but it's true. Been a handful of cases or more in each one of the European Union countries, and there's been some here, where children, not all, but enough to make it an extreme concern, suffer from brain swelling and temporary to permanent blindness from puberty blockers. That is willful and intentional harm because we have no idea what child this is going to happen to or what other psychological damage is going to be done because it's stopping the brain development. People are going to say, I'm not a doctor. No, I'm not. All I'm talking about is things that I've actually seen and heard of and researched with. Tavistock has been shut down. I'm not too sure if any one of them were charged with crimes against children or not. I don't know. And I'm not going to say they did, and I'm not going to say they didn't. Medical transition of children should be considered a crime, punishable by imprisonment. Don't pass go, don't collect $200, don't whatever, don't collect a get out of jail free card. Because what it does is causes the living mutilation of children, doing this to them. I am so glad I grew up in a time where they didn't do this to children. So I'll tell you what, I'd be having some serious malpractice lawsuits. There's stuff that needs to happen for the progression of in the medical field. It's not even a perfect science for adults. There's things that go wrong with adults. Okay? We as adults have the capability to understand the potential, the actual and potential dangers of going through a medical transition. We're not going to you're transgender. Here's your recommendation letter. It's not conversion therapy trying to convince somebody they're not. It's about doing it in a caring, compassionate way where we dive into what's going on here. Because this is a driving force right up here. The mental health issues is a driving force of whether somebody has gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. I believe it is. It's a mental health case, a mental health thing. Okay, because there's a lot of stuff other stuff that does come with it. Okay, and children also. Sorry about that. I didn't recognize how long I had been gone on mic. What we need to do is do a compassionate thing when it comes to mental health. Conversion therapy, no. Affirmation therapy, no. Caring, loving, tolerant, compassionate look and exploration with the child as to why they're going through what they're going through. Same thing was with an adult. I'm glad my first therapist was not a gender affirmation therapist. So I wanted to dive into it and see if there was anything I was missing that would lead me into a different direction as to what I believed and the way that I felt. Went through those things and found out that, yes, this is the right way for me to go, is medically transition. Thank God I was old enough to skip the puberty blocker things. Because even because of the harms that it does to adults, beyond stopping their testosterone and estrogen reproduction, destroys the reproductive system, also can lead to mental health issues, brain issues, other issues, physical issues for adults. Doesn't mean any of them are going to happen, but they have happened and they can, I'm sure a lot of them will continue to happen. Okay, just a very few reasons why they should be used. One, cancer treatment. Two, and even more important, for those who have been convicted sex offenders so they don't do it anymore. Because that is wrong. We're treating children with these hormone blockers and treating them like they have either cancer or they're a sexual deviant and rapist. What's the matter with you people? Do you not see the message you're shoveling to them with that message, that kind of a message? Because whether you tell them about this, what it's originally meant for or not, they're going to find out. They will find out. It's not hard. It's really not hard to find out. Now we're going to get on the topic of the evil satanic priest, priestess, Jamie Dodger, and her insane lies. Now she's saying that detransitioners are transphobic. Yeah. She even puts out a thing on it. A YouTube live stream on it. Oh my good Lord. Claims that hormone blockers and cross-sex hormones for children do not cause what I was talking about them causing extreme harm to children. They cause harm. Destroys the reproductive system. Sexual dysfunction. Brain dysfunction. Physical body dysfunction. Or development. Yeah, a child will grow, but they won't grow the way they need to properly by going through their natal born puberty. We know this is not healthy for them to miss out on. It's unhealthy for them to miss out on their natal puberty. Going through cross-sex hormone treatment for adults is traumatizing physically, emotionally, for an adult even. Exponentially worse for children. And I don't always like bringing this person up, but I have to because her life was put on TV, on television. That's Jazz Jennings. Look at all the problems, psychological problems she's had, and that poor girl. And she is really, when it comes to, she is so sweet. She really is. And all of the problems, healthcare, mental health issues he's had because of this Lupron, the puberty blockers, then going straight into cross-sex hormones. Surgeries, oh my good Lord, 4 or 5 different bottom surgeries. Jazz, a special message for you. I hope your life is, I hope things are getting better for you. I really do. I really do, because you are so sweet. You are a wonderful person. You got a wonderful heart. And I hope things really do get better for you. And my prayers are for you, and having and continuing to hopefully get better. I really do. Chloe Cole, who testified in Congress, had a double breast mastectomy at 13. They'll never grow back. Ever. She is so sweet. My prayers are with her too, and she was put on hormone blockers. And she admits she's not sure whether she'll ever be able to have kids or not. I really hope so. Because I know that's what she wants. I hope she can. It's hard to see that happening with 100% of detransitioners who started out as young as she did with the one with puberty blockers. They have that ability. She still has a uterus, and hopefully they can get it to refunction again so that she can have conceive and bear her own children. What's sad is she'll never be able to breastfeed her children. I think that's something she would have wanted to do also, from what I'm understanding of what she's been saying. So sweet. Harm. Another YouTuber, Brianna Ivy, she is so sweet. A beautiful soul. Bottom surgery. Put on hormone blockers at a young age. YouTube her name and listen to some of the interviews she's given. Some of the things she puts out on her own channel about her process. She admits to no sexual function, having pain down there, sex or no sex, even just touching. It seems as if, from what she was just saying, and I saw one of her things earlier, one of her YouTubes before I started this, and she gets pain just by it being there, and because of the complications that have come up from the surgery. And if I was understanding her right, some say that it could be fixed. Some people say that it probably can't be fixed. Brianna Ivy, my heart is out to you, honey. You're in my prayers. Shapeshifter, same thing. She's had medical issue problems from starting on hormone blockers as a young child. And I haven't even mentioned the incontinence that they have. Medically transitioning isn't a perfect science even for adults, even though it has gotten much, much, much better than what it ever used to be. It has grown exponentially, yes. There's still a lot of danger in it too. And I believe some of those dangers doctors aren't telling the patients. especially as a child and or an adult. Patients need to know all of this information so they can make a true, informed decision as to what surgeries they're going to have or not have. Even with or without the dangers, there's some that are just going to go through it anyway, and that's as an adult, that's okay. Adults can choose that. That is okay. I hope everything works for them and it goes well. Doctors practice medicine. They're still researching. Yes, they're intelligent. Sometimes some of them have a God complex, some don't. I believe for the most part, most of the doctors and therapists and medical staff are caring, compassionate, loving people for the most part. Well, please, if you're not telling people the whole truth about side effects and what could go wrong, what to expect, what not to expect, what to possibly expect, possibly not expect, that's still to a degree a disservice. We as patients need to know these things from the doctor, not from hearing it from someone else, other patients who have gone through these things. We want to hear it from you first. We really do. I do. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, to the best of your ability, you're being as honest as you can be and as caring and compassionate as you can be. There are some doctors that tell exactly all the truth as they know it. Guess what I'm saying also is a trans adult going through the medical transition, research the stuff. Get information from more than one source. Get them from more than two. I say get it from at least a half a dozen sources. Because there's going to be differences in information. And I'm not saying that doctors and therapists are intentionally lying. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's differences with information that they share. Because some of them may be new to the practice and aren't bringing all of it to mind at the time. And that's just because of learning. They're learning. They're gaining experience. And that's okay to gain experience. That's how things get better, especially with medical treatment for medical transition. One thing I don't go with, and I don't know why doctors go on with some doctors go on with this, that when you go through hormone therapy and do gender reassignment, they call it a sex change when it's when it's not. It's just changing the appearance of sex. And like I say, even the scientific and medical knowledge and practice has come a long, long way, and it has. It has. It really has. It really, truly, honestly has. Biological sex is a chromosomal thing. It's in the genes. That cannot be changed. Like I was saying earlier in the video, every single person on this planet has testosterone and estrogen in their body. Depends on how they're born as to which one is more predominant than the other. So when we go through a medical transition and go through hormone replacement therapy, all we're doing is elevating one and reducing the other to tell the body to do something different than what it was born to do. So we get the appearance of the opposite sex and gender. It needs some compassion. It's out there in the trans medical field. Though it would be nice to have more, to see more. And I'm not saying that doctors aren't compassionate. I believe over 99% of the time they actually get into the medical practice to help people because that's what they want to do. Anyway, message to Jimmy Dodger again. Stop lying to people. Detransitioning is a real thing. It is not transphobic to detransition. If anybody out there is listening to this and still here and you're struggling with your transition and you really want to detransition because you feel it wasn't the right thing, please do. Please do and get some real mental health therapy because there's good people out there in mental health therapy that will help you and medical doctors that will help you. Jamie Dodger, you are evil. I believe that with every fiber of my being that you're evil and you spread hate willfully and intentionally. You should be in prison with no human outside contact for the rest of your life. You are that evil. Pure satanic worship. Being okay with butchering children for medical transition. Been banned in the entire European Union for a reason, and an extremely good reason. Wake up, you evil satanic priestess. Yes, you're still a biological female. Jimmy Dodger or Jamie Dodger. And yes, I'm going to call you she because you don't deserve to be called a man, but even though you don't deserve to be called a trans man. You're evil and you spread hate of children and hate of detransitioners, and I won't tolerate it. I will call it out. It's wrong. It is wrong. Anyway, 45 minutes. Anyway, yeah, it's always Always nice to come on and talk with people and put stuff out. And I know a lot of my stuff is controversial. And even though I hope even those who don't agree with me kind of will have watched and will continue to watch my stuff and have some good conversations, I hope. And why I call some people out so hard is because they're intolerant to looking at new information. Or even don't even want to hear about the damage that's going on in the trans community. That is just wrong. Jamie Dodger, I hope things, I hope you change. I really do. I think fundamentally, even though right now I believe you're evil, I think fundamentally to the core, you're probably and can be a good, really good person. Help out find better ways to help the trans community. We owe it to ourselves as individuals, and we owe it to the trans community as a whole. Because medically transitioning can be one of the best things or one of the worst things. It can also be an in between thing, and that's okay too. Need to have some honest, open discussions. And okay, I'm willing to look at information. Or are you willing to look at information? Be nice to get some people on both sides to come together and have a discussion slash debate, bringing facts, not feelings, and actually be willing to look at what's out there to be presented, plus and minus, on both sides, whether of medical transition, especially for children and even adults. It's the human thing to do. It's the good thing to do. And it's the right thing to do. I don't expect it's gonna get fixed overnight. It's gonna take a process. Okay, and I'm see where it could get heated. We need to come down and with reason. Try to keep our feelings as much as we can to the side. And I know we all come into this with feelings. Okay? I understand that we all do. Those are the things we kind of got to try to keep under wraps so we can find out what's real. The real facts. Now, the facts for me as a person, because that can be different than what facts are when it comes to medical transition and what happens during it and the effects and outcomes of medical transition, the possible outcomes, positive and negative. Because all we want is for people to have a better life, no matter what stage of life they're in, whether it's a child, teenager, young adult, or an adult, long term adult. That's what I want to see. It's better outcomes for all of us. Because right now, it's with doing things the way that they're going, the transsexual and transgender community, we start to look like we're whack jobs again. When so much progress has already happened in the community for us trans people. I could go on to another tangent about, well, not tangent, but something else too. If that's this one is not for that. I'm not. I've already gone 50 and a half minutes, and I don't want this to be any longer than what it already is. I wouldn't mind doing another longer one, a little bit longer at this, but maybe later today or tomorrow I'll do another one about this. Know some other topics. That's a topic or topics that's happening in the trans community. I know some that I would agree with, some of them that I don't. Yeah, reasonable talks with real compassion and tolerance. And the tolerance to listen to what the facts are. Try to keep as much of the emotion to the side as possible, even though it's really hard not to. So, anyway, if you're all still here, I'll be signing off. And remember, whether I agree with you or not, you're important. You have value and you have worth. No one told you they love you today. I love you. Thank you and have a great rest of your day, no matter what part of the day you're in. Bye bye for now.